10,000 words in English. Levels from A0 to C2. Part number 4. Welcome to the new series of the Talk English Fluently channel. In this fresh collection, I will be explaining 10,000 words that cover levels from A0 to C2. This is a vast and rich compilation of words that will greatly enhance your English language skills. Please watch the video until the end, and if you have any suggestions for improving future videos in this series, kindly leave them in the comments section. I appreciate your support through comments, likes, and subscribing to my channel. Ready to begin? Let's go! Part number 4. 500 words. Clever.
She devised a clever plan to solve the problem efficiently.
His clever use of metaphors made the speech captivating.
Annoy.
Please don't annoy your sister while she's studying.
The constant buzzing of the mosquito began to annoy me.
Brain.
Learning a new language is a great workout for the brain.
He's known for his sharp wit and quick brain.
Cap.
The company decided to cap the number of attendees for safety reasons.
The bottle cap rolled under the table, out of reach.
Depress.
Continuous rainy days can depress even the most cheerful person.
The news of the accident depressed the entire community.
Cast.
He broke his arm and had to wear a cast for 6 weeks.
The director cast her in the lead role after a successful audition.
Grand.
They hosted a grand celebration for their 50th wedding anniversary.
The grand architecture of the cathedral left visitors in awe.
Branch.
The tree's branches reached out towards the sky.
The company decided to branch out into international markets.
Encourage.
She always encourages her children to pursue their dreams.
His supportive words encouraged me to keep going.
Connect.
We connected instantly over our shared love for hiking.
The bridge connects the two sides of the river.
Image.
The artist created a stunning image of the sunset over the mountains.
His public image as a philanthropist was well known.
Crash.
Unfortunately, the computer crashed right in the middle of my work.
The sound of the crashing waves against the shore was soothing.
Cow.
The cow lazily grazed in the field.
Fresh milk comes from contented cows.
Heaven.
After a long day, sinking into a warm bath felt like heaven.
The view from the mountaintop was like a glimpse of heaven.
Direction.
Can you give me directions to the nearest gas station?
The project lacked clear direction, causing confusion among the team.
Associate.
Smoking is often associated with various health risks.
She's been my associate for years, and I trust her completely.
Grace.
She moved with grace and elegance across the dance floor.
The ballerina performed with effortless grace.
December.
The first snowfall in December always brings a sense of wonder.
December is my favorite month because of the holiday spirit.
Advance.
The company made significant advances in technology this year.
Please pay in advance for the tickets to secure your spot.
Compare.
It's like comparing apples to oranges. They're entirely different.
When you compare their prices, you'll see that ours is much better.
Elder.
In many cultures, elders are highly respected for their wisdom.
My elder sister always looked out for me when we were kids.
Empire.
She built her business empire from the ground up.
The ancient Roman Empire once ruled over vast territories.
Army.
The army marched in perfect formation.
He enlisted in the army right out of high school.
Word.
He couldn't believe it until he heard it straight from her own word.
Your word is your bond. Always keep your promises.
Who?
Who is going to be the next speaker at the conference?
Do you know who left their umbrella behind?
Bike.
They went on a bike ride through the countryside.
She rode her bike to work every day to stay fit.
Identify.
Can you identify the suspect from this lineup?
It's important to correctly identify the problem before finding a solution.
Email.
He received an email confirming his flight reservation.
I'll send you an email with all the details.
Beg.
He had to beg for forgiveness after the misunderstanding.
Please don't beg. I'll gladly help you.
Alter.
Moving to a new country can significantly alter your perspective.
The tailor altered the dress to fit perfectly.
Clip.
She clipped the coupon to save money on groceries.
The sound of horse hooves echoed as they clip-clopped down the street.
Cage.
She felt trapped, like a bird in a cage.
The lion paced back and forth in its cage at the zoo.
Instance.
This is not an isolated instance, it's part of a larger pattern.
Can you give me an instance where this strategy has worked before?
Duty.
Soldiers have a duty to protect their country.
It's my duty to take care of my aging parents.
Yet.
She hasn't finished her assignment yet.
He was tired yet determined to finish the race.
Bat.
They played baseball with a wooden bat.
The bat swooped down from the tree to catch its prey.
Canoe.
They glided silently across the lake in their canoe.
Let's rent a canoe and explore the river this weekend.
Carpet.
She vacuumed the carpet to remove any dirt and dust.
The soft carpet felt luxurious underfoot.
Gear.
He adjusted the gear to climb the steep hill.
Make sure you have all your camping gear packed before we leave.
Citizen.
He became a naturalized citizen after living in the country for 10 years.
As citizens, we have certain rights and responsibilities.
Ignore.
He chose to ignore the criticism and focus on his goals.
Please don't ignore the warning signs. They're there for a reason.
Convince.
His passionate speech convinced many to join the cause.
She tried to convince him to change his mind, but he wouldn't budge.
Commit.
If you commit to this project, you'll need to give it your all.
He made a commitment to volunteer at the homeless shelter every weekend.
Electric.
The future of urban transport is electric.
The electric car glided silently down the street.
Bark.
The dog's bark echoed through the neighborhood.
The rough bark of the tree scraped against her skin.
Cable.
He accidentally tripped over the cable and disconnected the TV.
The cable company installed high-speed internet in our neighborhood.
Debt.
He struggled to pay off his student debt after graduation.
Being in debt can cause a lot of stress and anxiety.
Chest.
She felt a tightness in her chest as she ran to catch the bus.
He placed the treasure chest on the table, eager to see what was inside.
Fashion.
She always keeps up with the latest fashion trends.
The fashion designer showcased her new collection on the runway.
Anger.
She tried to hide her anger behind a forced smile.
His anger flared up when he heard the news.
Gain.
With hard work and dedication, you can achieve great gains.
He gained valuable experience during his internship.
Adult.
She became an adult when she turned 18.
As an adult, you're responsible for your own actions.
Frog.
The pond was filled with croaking frogs on summer nights.
He caught a frog and put it in a jar to study.
Evidence.
There's no evidence to support his claim.
The fingerprints on the window were crucial evidence in the case.
Hero.
He's a true hero for risking his life to save others.
She's always been my hero, ever since I was a child.
Create.
Together, we can create a better future for our children.
Artists use various mediums to create beautiful works of art.
Grocer.
She bought fresh produce from the local grocer.
The grocer stocked shelves with a variety of goods.
Commerce.
He studied commerce in college before starting his own business.
The city thrived due to its bustling commerce.
Competition.
Healthy competition can drive innovation and improvement.
She entered the competition with confidence, ready to win.
Engage.
They were engaged to be married after years of dating.
The teacher tried to engage her students in a lively discussion.
Dust.
She wiped the dust off the old book before opening it.
Dust particles floated in the air as she swept the floor.
Energy.
She lacked the energy to get out of bed after a long day at work.
Renewable energy sources like solar and wind are becoming more popular.
Concentrate.
Please try to concentrate during the test. Distractions will only hurt your score.
He concentrated all his efforts on finishing the project on time.
Giant.
He felt like a giant among men as he accepted the award.
The giant redwoods towered over the forest.
Break.
He slammed on the brake just in time to avoid hitting the car in front of him.
The sudden brake caused the passengers to lurch forward.
Champion.
He fought like a true champion until the very end.
She was determined to become the champion of the tournament.
Bake.
The smell of freshly baked bread filled the kitchen.
She decided to bake cookies for the bake sale.
Wine.
The wine aged beautifully, developing rich flavors over time.
They enjoyed a glass of wine with dinner.
Win.
Winning isn't everything, but it sure feels good.
She trained hard to win the marathon.
Affair.
He handles all financial affairs for the company.
The scandalous affair between the two politicians made headlines.
Ease.
Taking a hot bath can ease sore muscles after a workout.
She spoke with ease in front of the large audience.
Influence.
She used her influence to advocate for positive change.
Parents have a significant influence on their children's development.
Cotton.
The sheets were made from soft cotton that felt luxurious against the skin.
They harvested fields of cotton to be spun into yarn.
Bin.
She rummaged through the bin in search of her lost keys.
Please throw your trash in the bin, not on the ground.
Channel.
The boat navigated through the narrow channel between the islands.
He changed the channel to find something more interesting to watch.
Assist.
The teacher's assistant graded papers during her free period.
Can you assist me with this heavy box?
Firm.
She shook his hand with a firm grip.
The company has a firm policy against discrimination.
What?
I'm not sure what to wear to the party.
What are your plans for the weekend?
Assume.
Let's not assume anything until we have all the facts.
He assumed the role of leader in the group.
Boss.
She's the boss. What she says goes.
The boss congratulated everyone on a job well done.
Bear.
He walked around the house in bare feet.
She wore only a thin sweater, feeling the cold air on her bare arms.
Butter.
The recipe called for a stick of butter.
She spread butter on her toast for breakfast.
District.
The school district encompasses several neighborhoods.
He's the representative for our district in Congress.
Desert.
After dinner, they enjoyed a slice of chocolate cake with desert wine.
The desert stretches for miles, with nothing but sand and sky.
Ceiling.
The ceiling fan whirred quietly above their heads.
The room was painted a bright white to match the ceiling.
Feature.
She was the feature of the evening, dazzling everyone with her performance.
The new smartphone has a lot of advanced features.
Frustrate.
He felt frustrated when his computer crashed in the middle of work.
The lack of progress began to frustrate the team.
Cheat.
He felt guilty for cheating on his girlfriend.
Cheating on a test is never acceptable.
With.
Please mix the ingredients with a spoon until well combined.
She signed the letter with her signature.
Chew.
The dog chewed on the bone for hours.
He chewed his food slowly, savoring every bite.
Carrot.
She chopped the carrot into small pieces for the soup.
Eating carrots is good for your eyesight.
Industry.
She works in the fashion industry as a designer.
The city is known for its thriving film industry.
Attract.
Bright colors are known to attract birds to the garden.
The job offer attracted many qualified candidates.
Weather.
Whether you like it or not, we need to finish this project by Friday.
I'm not sure whether I should go to the party or not.
Basis.
The decision was made on the basis of available evidence.
They meet on a weekly basis to discuss progress.
Directed.
The arrow pointed in the direction of the nearest exit.
She directed the play with a keen eye for detail.
Dine.
They decided to dine out at their favorite restaurant.
He invited her to dine with him at the fancy French bistro.
Creature.
They spotted a mysterious creature lurking in the shadows.
The forest was teeming with all sorts of creatures.
Access.
The key card grants access to the building after hours.
She had access to classified information as part of her job.
Crack.
The cold weather caused the pipes to crack.
He heard a loud crack as the branch broke under his weight.
Improve.
Practice every day to improve your skills.
They made several changes to improve the efficiency of the process.
Cope.
Everyone copes with stress in their own way.
She struggled to cope with the loss of her pet.
Favor.
Can you do me a favor and pick up my dry cleaning?
He did me a huge favor by helping me move.
Engineer.
She used her skills as an engineer to design a new bridge.
He's an engineer by profession, specializing in civil engineering.
Coal.
The train chugged along, fueled by coal.
Coal mining has a significant impact on the environment.
Curious.
She couldn't help but feel curious about what was inside the package.
Cats are known for their curious nature.
Attempt.
He made an attempt to climb the steep mountain.
Please attempt the exercise before asking for help.
Complain.
She refused to listen to him complain any longer.
He complained about the noise coming from the construction site.
Capable.
You're capable of achieving anything you set your mind to.
The new employee proved to be very capable in her role.
Feather.
The bird preened its feathers in the sunlight.
The pillow was filled with soft feathers.
Bind.
The rope was used to bind the packages together.
They signed a contract to bind the agreement.
Crawl.
The spider crawled slowly across the ceiling.
The baby learned to crawl before learning to walk.
Height.
The tower reached a height of over 1,000 feet.
She was afraid of heights and avoided tall buildings.
Foreign.
Foreign investors are interested in the country's economy.
She speaks several foreign languages fluently.
Council.
The city council meets once a month to discuss local issues.
She's a member of the student council at her school.
Grant.
He received a grant to conduct research for his dissertation.
The foundation awarded a grant to support the arts in the community.
Examine.
The doctor will examine you to determine the cause of your symptoms.
She carefully examined each piece of evidence before reaching a conclusion.
Year.
She tried to cheer him up after his disappointing loss.
The crowd erupted into cheers when their team scored a goal.
Demand.
The demand for organic produce has increased in recent years.
He made a demand for higher wages during the negotiations.
Brush.
He used a brush to sweep away the dust.
She brushed her hair until it shone in the sunlight.
Contain.
The container is designed to contain liquids without leaking.
The dam was built to contain the floodwaters.
Cloud.
Dark clouds gathered on the horizon, signaling an approaching storm.
The sky was covered in fluffy white clouds.
Brilliant.
Her idea was so brilliant that everyone applauded.
The sun cast a brilliant light over the landscape.
Diet.
A balanced diet is essential for good health.
She's been on a strict diet to lose weight.
Account.
Please settle your account before leaving the store.
He kept a detailed account of his expenses.
Advice.
She advised him to seek legal counsel before signing the contract.
Can you advise me on which stocks to invest in?
Criminal.
The police arrested the criminal after a lengthy investigation.
He was convicted of criminal activity and sentenced to prison.
Desk.
He sat down at his desk and began to work on the report.
She cleared her desk before leaving the office for the day.
Boil.
She watched the pot of water boil on the stove.
The hot water will boil away any impurities.
Complicate.
His complicated relationship with his father caused him a lot of stress.
Adding more rules will only complicate the situation further.
Creep.
The spider crept silently across the floor.
She felt a chill as the creepy music played in the background.
Customer.
He's a loyal customer who shops here regularly.
The customer complained about the poor service.
Bond.
They shared a special bond that couldn't be broken.
Investing in bonds can provide a steady income stream.
Flight.
He booked a last-minute flight to attend the conference.
The flight was delayed due to bad weather.
Brand.
The company launched a new brand of luxury watches.
She's loyal to her favorite brand of sneakers.
Beer.
The brewery specializes in crafting unique, artisanal beers.
They enjoyed a cold beer after a long day of work.
Which.
Which book would you like to read first?
Can you tell me which way to go?
Alive.
She felt more alive than ever after the thrilling adventure.
The forest was alive with the sounds of birds and insects.
Assure.
He assured her that everything would be okay.
The warranty assures customers that the product is of high quality.
Balance.
The gymnast demonstrated incredible balance on the beam.
Finding a balance between work and personal life is essential.
Immediate.
We need to take immediate action to address the problem.
The immediate aftermath of the earthquake was chaotic.
Enormous.
The project required an enormous amount of time and effort.
The elephant's ears were enormous, flapping in the breeze.
Fox.
The cunning fox outsmarted the hunters yet again.
She spotted a fox darting through the trees.
Elect.
He was elected as chairman of the board.
The people will elect a new president next year.
Career.
She's had a successful career in finance for over 20 years.
He's considering a career change to pursue his passion for art.
Impress.
He tried to impress her with his knowledge of wine.
Her presentation impressed everyone in the room.
Coach.
The coach pushed his team to give it their all.
She hired a coach to help her improve her tennis game.
Bless.
She felt blessed to have such supportive friends and family.
May you be blessed with happiness and success.
Finance.
He studied finance in college before becoming an investment banker.
The finance department handles all financial transactions for the company.
Angel.
The charity relies on donations from generous angels like you.
She's always been my guardian angel, looking out for me.
Chocolate.
She indulged in a piece of rich, dark chocolate.
The cake was topped with a decadent layer of chocolate ganache.
Eventually.
She knew that eventually they would find a solution to the problem.
Eventually, all your hard work will pay off.
Desire.
His desire for success drove him to work harder than anyone else.
She felt a strong desire to travel and explore new places.
Doll.
The antique doll was worth a small fortune.
She played with her favorite doll until bedtime.
Fry.
He fried the eggs until they were golden brown.
She's trying to eat healthier, so she rarely fries foods anymore.
Glory.
She basked in the glory of her success.
The army fought bravely, earning glory on the battlefield.
Discipline.
Discipline is essential for achieving your goals.
She admired his discipline and dedication to his craft.
August.
They got married on a beautiful August afternoon.
The hottest days of summer are usually in August.
Chase.
The cat chased the mouse around the garden.
He chased his dreams with determination and perseverance.
Embarrass.
He tried to hide his embarrassed blush with a laugh.
She felt embarrassed when she tripped and fell in front of everyone.
Injure.
He was seriously injured in the car accident.
Please be careful not to injure yourself while playing sports.
Coast.
The boat sailed smoothly along the coast, guided by the captain.
They took a leisurely drive along the coast, enjoying the ocean views.
Bucket.
She filled the bucket with water from the well.
He kicked the bucket over in frustration.
Alcohol.
He decided to quit alcohol altogether for the sake of his health.
Drinking alcohol in moderation is okay, but excessive consumption can be harmful.
While.
While she studied for her exams, he cooked dinner.
He read a book while waiting for the bus to arrive.
Bump.
The car hit a bump in the road, jolting everyone inside.
She accidentally bumped into him in the crowded hallway.
Bloom.
The flowers began to bloom in the spring sunshine.
Her talent as a writer began to bloom at an early age.
Beef.
He prefers chicken to beef when it comes to burgers.
They enjoyed a hearty meal of roast beef and potatoes.
Wood.
The table was made from solid oak wood.
They gathered wood for the campfire.
February.
They got engaged on Valentine's Day in February.
February is the shortest month of the year.
Delight.
Her laughter was a delight to everyone in the room.
The dessert was a delightful combination of flavors.
Frame.
The painting hung on the wall in an ornate gold frame.
She placed the photograph in a beautiful silver frame.
Fantastic.
The concert was absolutely fantastic. I had a great time.
She did a fantastic job organizing the event.
Extreme.
He enjoys extreme sports like skydiving and rock climbing.
The weather went from extreme heat to extreme cold in a matter of hours.
Attach.
Please attach the file to your email before sending it.
She used glue to attach the pieces of paper together.
Charm.
She wore a charm bracelet with all her favorite memories.
He had a natural charm that made people instantly like him.
Grab.
He reached out to grab the falling book before it hit the ground.
She grabbed her coat and headed out the door.
Cart.
They rode in a horse-drawn cart through the countryside.
He loaded the groceries into the shopping cart.
Honey.
She stirred a spoonful of honey into her tea.
The bees collected nectar to make honey for the hive.
Atmosphere.
The tense atmosphere in the room was palpable.
The cozy atmosphere of the cafe made it the perfect place to relax.
Winter.
They went skiing in the mountains every winter.
The winter months can be cold and snowy.
Scent.
The price of the item was reduced by 50 cents.
He saved every cent he earned to buy his dream car.
Within.
The solution to the problem lies within ourselves.
He found the strength to overcome his fears from within.
Example.
She set a good example for her younger siblings to follow.
Can you give me an example of how to use this word in a sentence?
Bleed.
He pressed a clean cloth against the cut to stop the bleeding.
The colors began to bleed together as the painting dried.
Gentleman.
The gentleman offered his seat to the elderly lady on the crowded bus.
He was always polite and courteous, a true gentleman.
Idiot.
He felt like such an idiot for forgetting his keys.
Don't be an idiot. Wear your seatbelt.
Clue.
The detective followed every clue until he solved the case.
She searched the room for a clue to the mystery.
Bay.
They enjoyed a peaceful picnic by the bay.
The boat was anchored in the sheltered bay.
Disappoint.
He felt disappointed when his team lost the game.
She didn't want to disappoint her parents, so she worked hard to succeed.
Enemy.
The two countries were once bitter enemies but now enjoy peaceful relations.
He saw his rival as his sworn enemy.
Belt.
She wore a stylish belt to cinch her waist.
He tightened his belt after losing weight.
Battle.
The soldiers fought bravely in the battle for freedom.
She faced an uphill battle to overcome her fear of public speaking.
Blank.
The canvas was blank, waiting for inspiration to strike.
She stared at the blank page, unsure of what to write.
Right.
She liked to write stories in her free time.
He used a pen to write his name on the dotted line.
Effect.
His decision will affect the outcome of the project.
The news of her illness deeply affected everyone who knew her.
Bean.
She added beans to the chili for extra protein.
He planted bean seeds in the garden and waited for them to sprout.
Guarantee.
The warranty guarantees that the product will be free from defects.
We guarantee your satisfaction with our products.
Dozen.
She bought a dozen eggs at the grocery store.
He ordered a dozen roses for their anniversary.
Inspect.
She carefully inspected each piece of fruit before buying it.
The inspector will inspect the building for safety violations.
Divorce.
They decided to divorce after years of unhappiness.
The divorce proceedings were long and contentious.
Character.
She's a character, always making people laugh with her jokes.
He's known for his strong moral character and integrity.
Flame.
The flame danced in the breeze, casting shadows on the walls.
He lit a match and watched as the flame flickered to life.
Flow.
She felt the creative ideas begin to flow as she sat down to write.
The river flowed gently downstream, carrying leaves and debris.
Ace.
He aced the test, scoring higher than anyone else in the class.
She's an ace at playing poker. She never loses.
Exam.
The final exam covered everything they had learned that semester.
She studied hard for the exam, hoping to get a good grade.
West.
The sun sets in the west, casting a warm glow over the landscape.
They drove west towards the coast for their summer vacation.
Fan.
He's a huge fan of the band, owning all their albums.
She fanned herself with a magazine to cool off in the heat.
Edit.
She spent hours editing her manuscript before sending it to the publisher.
The editor suggested several changes to improve the article.
Cough.
She caught a cold and couldn't stop coughing.
He coughed loudly to clear his throat.
Casual.
She preferred a casual dress code at work, allowing her to be comfortable.
They met for a casual lunch at their favorite cafe.
Blonde.
He always had a soft spot for blonde women.
She dyed her hair blonde for a change.
County.
They lived in the rural outskirts of the county.
The county fair was a highlight of the summer.
Female.
She's a strong female leader in a male-dominated industry.
The female bird sat patiently on her nest, waiting for her eggs to hatch.
Well.
He dug a deep well to provide water for the farm.
She felt well rested after a good night's sleep.
Deck.
The ship had a spacious deck where passengers could enjoy the view.
They spent the afternoon lounging on the deck, soaking up the sun.
Yesterday.
They went for a hike in the mountains yesterday.
She finished the project yesterday, just in time for the deadline.
Develop.
She's working hard to develop her skills as a musician.
The city continues to develop and grow with each passing year.
Advice.
Can you give me some advice on how to improve my presentation?
She sought advice from her friends before making a decision.
Copy.
They sell copies of famous paintings at the museum gift shop.
She made a copy of the document for her records.
Whole.
He ate the whole pizza by himself. He must have been hungry.
She felt a sense of wholeness and contentment after her yoga practice.
Zero.
The chances of winning the lottery are close to zero.
He scored 0 points on the quiz because he didn't answer any questions.
Asleep.
He fell asleep as soon as his head hit the pillow.
The baby was fast asleep in her crib.
Worse.
She felt even worse after taking the medicine. It made her nauseous.
Things went from bad to worse when they missed their flight.
Earn.
She worked hard to earn a promotion at work.
He earns a good salary as a software engineer.
Attention.
The children demanded her attention, each wanting to tell their story.
Please pay attention to the instructions before starting the experiment.
Apartment.
They rented a cozy apartment in the city center.
She lives in a spacious apartment overlooking the park.
Department.
The department store sells everything from clothing to electronics.
He works in the marketing department of a large corporation.
Benefit.
Regular exercise has numerous benefits for both physical and mental health.
She enrolled in the company's health plan to take advantage of the benefits.
Blanket.
The fog lay like a thick blanket over the city.
She wrapped herself in a warm blanket to ward off the chill.
Furniture.
They bought new furniture to furnish their apartment.
The antique furniture was handed down through generations of the family.
Exhaust.
The car's exhaust emitted thick, black smoke.
He felt exhausted after a long day at work.
Counter.
She wiped down the kitchen counter after preparing dinner.
The cashier rang up their items at the checkout counter.
Wide.
She had a wide smile on her face when she saw the surprise.
The road was wide enough for 2 lanes of traffic in each direction.
Hesitate.
Don't hesitate to ask if you have any questions.
He hesitated before making a decision, weighing the pros and cons.
Dive.
She took a deep dive into the world of photography.
They went for a dive in the crystal clear waters of the Caribbean.
Adapt.
He had to adapt to the new environment after moving to a different country.
The animals adapt to their surroundings in order to survive.
Detail.
She paid attention to every detail when planning the party.
Please provide as much detail as possible in your report.
Wind.
The wind blew through the trees, rustling the leaves.
They harness the power of the wind to generate electricity.
Gorgeous.
She looked absolutely gorgeous in her wedding dress.
The sunset painted the sky in gorgeous shades of pink and orange.
Excellent.
She received an excellent grade on her final exam.
The food at the restaurant was excellent. I highly recommend it.
Cans.
The pantry was stocked with cans of soup and vegetables.
She recycled cans and bottles to help reduce waste.
Weight.
She lifted weights at the gym to build muscle.
He struggled to lose weight despite following a strict diet.
Claim.
She filed an insurance claim after her car was damaged in an accident.
He made a false claim about his qualifications on his resume.
Flip.
He flipped the pancake with a flick of his wrist.
The coin landed on heads after a lucky flip.
Decorate.
They hired a decorator to help them redecorate their living room.
She decorated the Christmas tree with colorful ornaments.
Ghost.
They went on a ghost tour of the haunted mansion.
She felt like a ghost, invisible to the world around her.
Fault.
The earthquake was caused by a fault line in the Earth's crust.
He admitted his fault and apologized for his mistake.
Habit.
Drinking coffee in the morning became a habit for her.
She couldn't break the habit of biting her nails when she was nervous.
April.
She was born on a sunny April morning.
April showers bring May flowers.
Design.
She studied design in school before becoming an architect.
The design of the building was sleek and modern.
Battery.
He checked the battery level on his phone before leaving the house.
The flashlight needed new batteries to work properly.
Establish.
They established a new company together last year.
The school was established in the early 1900s.
Will.
She had the will to succeed, no matter what obstacles stood in her way.
He wrote his last will and testament to ensure his wishes were carried out after his death.
Effect.
The medication had a positive effect on his symptoms.
His actions had a significant effect on the outcome of the project.
Bend.
She wore a rubber band around her wrist to remind her to stay focused.
They went to see their favorite band in concert.
Apple.
She packed an apple in her lunch for a healthy snack.
The orchard was full of ripe, juicy apples.
Incredible.
She had an incredible talent for playing the piano.
The view from the mountaintop was absolutely incredible.
Discuss.
They sat down to discuss their plans for the future.
She wanted to discuss the issue further before making a decision.
Yes.
Yes, I'd love to go out with you, he replied eagerly.
Yes, she said with a smile, accepting his proposal.
Crisp.
The air was crisp and cold on the winter morning.
She took a bite of the apple, enjoying its crisp texture.
Exchange.
He exchanged dollars for euros at the currency exchange.
They exchanged gifts on their anniversary.
Burst.
The balloon burst with a loud pop.
She burst into tears when she heard the news.
Apply.
He applied for a job at the local bookstore.
She applied sunscreen to protect her skin from the sun.
Decision.
They made the difficult decision to move across the country.
She's still weighing her options before making a decision.
Background.
The background music added to the atmosphere of the party.
He had a background in finance before starting his own business.
Camera.
She took a picture of the beautiful sunset with her camera.
He adjusted the settings on the camera to get the perfect shot.
Chief.
She was the chief editor of the newspaper, overseeing all content.
The chief of police was responsible for maintaining law and order in the city.
Bitter.
The bitter cold made it difficult to go outside.
She took a sip of the bitter medicine, trying not to grimace.
Accident.
She spilled coffee on her shirt by accident.
The car accident caused a major traffic jam on the highway.
Income.
She earns a steady income working as a freelance writer.
They reported their income to the IRS for tax purposes.
Worth.
He wondered if the effort was worth the reward.
The painting was worth millions of dollars.
Dollar.
She saved every dollar she earned to buy her dream car.
The dollar weakened against other currencies in the global market.
Exist.
The rumors of his death turned out to be false. He still exists.
Do aliens exist somewhere in the universe?
Avoid.
He tried to avoid making eye contact with his ex-girlfriend.
She decided to avoid caffeine after lunch to help her sleep better.
Elephant.
She saw an elephant up close for the first time on her safari.
The elephant trumpeted loudly, startling the tourists.
Event.
The charity gala was the social event of the season.
They attended the sporting event to cheer on their favorite team.
Crowd.
She felt claustrophobic in the crowded subway car.
The crowd cheered as the band took the stage.
Argue.
They argued over where to go for dinner.
He didn't want to argue with her, so he kept quiet.
Entire.
She spent the entire day cleaning the house from top to bottom.
The entire family gathered for the reunion.
Advantage.
She took advantage of the opportunity to travel abroad.
His height gave him an advantage on the basketball court.
Year.
She was born in the year of the dragon according to the Chinese zodiac.
They celebrated their wedding anniversary every year.
Cousin.
She's my favorite cousin. We've been close since childhood.
They're distant cousins, but they still keep in touch.
Wrong.
He knew something was wrong when he saw the look on her face.
She admitted she was wrong and apologized.
Brief.
He gave a brief summary of the main points.
She stopped by for a brief visit before heading home.
Hobby.
She enjoys gardening as a hobby in her free time.
Photography is his favorite hobby. He loves capturing memories.
Fold.
She neatly folded the laundry and put it away.
He folded the paper into a small square before putting it in his pocket.
Fourth.
He pushed forth through the crowd to get a better view of the stage.
They set forth on their journey with high hopes and excitement.
Bury.
They decided to bury the time capsule in the backyard.
He felt like he needed to bury his past in order to move forward.
Generation.
She's part of the younger generation that grew up with technology.
Each generation brings its own unique perspective to the world.
Average.
The average temperature for this time of year is 70 degrees Fahrenheit.
She scored slightly above average on the test.
Community.
She felt a sense of belonging in her tight-knit community.
They volunteered at the local community center to give back.
White.
She wore a white dress to her wedding.
The snow-covered landscape looked pristine and white.
Fairy.
The fairy godmother waved her wand and granted her wish.
She believed in fairies when she was a child.
Chapter.
She read the next chapter of the book before bed.
They're entering a new chapter in their lives with the move to a new city.
Disease.
She's studying infectious diseases as part of her research.
The doctor diagnosed him with a rare disease.
Cottage.
They spent the weekend at a cozy cottage in the countryside.
She dreamed of owning a quaint cottage by the sea.
Escape.
She needed a break from the city, a temporary escape from reality.
They planned their escape from the prison carefully.
You.
You are the most important person in my life.
Do you want to go to the movies with me?
Entertain.
They enjoyed watching the street performers entertain the crowd.
She hired a clown to entertain the children at her son's birthday party.
Guilty.
He felt guilty for lying to his parents.
She was found guilty of stealing from her employer.
Bow.
He took a bow after his performance on stage.
She tied a bow around the package before putting it in the mail.
When.
When will you be back from your trip?
She asked him when he would be home for dinner.
Do.
She paid the bill on time, as it was due that day.
The assignment is due at the end of the week.
Young.
They were young and in love when they got married.
She felt young at heart, despite her advancing age.
Bang.
They heard a loud bang coming from the kitchen.
He slammed the door shut with a loud bang.
Cloth.
She wiped the table with a damp cloth to clean up the spill.
The dress was made from soft, lightweight cloth.
Fool.
Don't be a fool. Always wear sunscreen.
He felt like a fool for forgetting his anniversary.
Bug.
She screamed when she saw a bug crawling across the floor.
He spent hours debugging the computer program to fix the errors.
Weak.
She's looking forward to her week-long vacation at the beach.
They go grocery shopping every week to stock up on essentials.
Heap.
She piled a heap of clothes on the bed while packing for the trip.
The old car was nothing but a heap of rust.
Contract.
He reviewed the contract carefully before agreeing to the terms.
They signed a contract to buy the house.
Determine.
She couldn't determine the cause of the problem.
He was determined to finish the race, no matter what.
Window.
They looked out the window at the falling snow.
She opened the window to let in some fresh air.
Dump.
He took the trash out to the dump on Saturday morning.
She decided to dump her cheating boyfriend and move on.
Altogether.
They collected altogether too many seashells at the beach.
Altogether, it was a successful day at the office.
Awake.
He woke up feeling refreshed and awake.
She stayed awake all night studying for the exam.
Wife.
He bought his wife flowers for their anniversary.
She's been a loving wife and mother for over 30 years.
Automatic.
The doors opened automatically as they approached the store.
He drove an automatic car because he didn't know how to drive a manual.
Combine.
They decided to combine their resources to buy a house together.
She combined the ingredients to make the perfect cake.
Castle.
They toured the ancient castle while on vacation in Europe.
She felt like a princess living in her own castle.
Aid.
He used a first aid kit to treat the minor injury.
They sent humanitarian aid to the victims of the natural disaster.
Aside.
She set her book aside and went outside to enjoy the sunshine.
He made a joke aside to lighten the mood in the room.
Yellow.
The yellow taxi pulled up to the curb to pick them up.
She painted the walls of her bedroom a cheerful shade of yellow.
Fetch.
The dog eagerly fetched the stick thrown by his owner.
She sent her son to fetch a glass of water from the kitchen.
Estate.
She works for a real estate company, helping people buy and sell homes.
He inherited a large estate from his grandparents.
Committee.
They formed a committee to plan the annual fundraiser.
She's a member of the committee responsible for selecting the winner.
Chop.
She chopped off her long hair and donated it to charity.
He chopped the vegetables into small pieces for the soup.
Contact.
She lost contact with her old college roommate after graduation.
He used his contacts in the industry to find a job.
Cruel.
The dictator ruled with a cruel iron fist.
It's cruel to tease someone about their appearance.
Harm.
He didn't mean to harm anyone with his words. It was just a joke.
She felt responsible for the harm caused by her actions.
Brave.
She's a brave firefighter who risks her life to save others.
He showed a brave face even in the face of danger.
Disappear.
The magician made the rabbit disappear right before their eyes.
She disappeared without a trace, leaving behind only memories.
Century.
The church has been standing for over a century.
The current century witnesses unparalleled human achievements.
Breathe.
She took a deep breath and tried to calm her nerves.
He struggled to breathe in the thin mountain air.
Banana.
He slipped on a banana peel and fell on the sidewalk.
She peeled a banana and ate it for breakfast.
Blind.
He closed his eyes and walked blindfolded across the room.
She's blind, but she doesn't let it hold her back from living her life.
Detect.
She could detect a hint of sadness in his voice.
The detective tried to detect any clues at the crime scene.
Expense.
They spared no expense in planning their dream wedding.
She worried about the expense of the trip, but it was worth it in the end.
Biscuit.
He dunked his biscuit in his tea before taking a bite.
She made homemade biscuits for breakfast.
Broad.
The river widened into a broad expanse as it flowed towards the sea.
She had a broad smile on her face when she saw the surprise.
Golf.
She watched the golf tournament on TV with her dad.
He enjoyed playing golf on the weekends with his friends.
Classic.
She wore a classic black dress to the party.
The novel is considered a classic of English literature.
Cigarette.
She decided to quit smoking after years of lighting up cigarettes.
He took a drag from his cigarette before stubbing it out.
Brick.
They used bricks to build the walls of their new house.
She felt like a brick wall was standing between them, preventing communication.
Innocent.
She had an innocent look about her, as if she hadn't done anything wrong.
He was found innocent of the crime after a thorough investigation.
Divide.
They divided the pizza into equal slices to share.
The issue served to divide the group into two opposing factions.
Wild.
She felt a sense of freedom when she went hiking in the wild.
They went on a safari to see wild animals in their natural habitat.
Curl.
She used a curling iron to curl her hair for the party.
The cat curled up on the windowsill and fell asleep.
Why?
She wondered why he hadn't called her back yet.
Why did you do that? What were you thinking?
Work.
He's been out of work since he was laid off last year.
She put in long hours of work to meet the deadline.
Blame.
She accepted the blame for the mistake and apologized.
He tried to shift the blame onto someone else.
Fence.
They put up a fence to keep the dogs from running away.
She sat on the fence, unable to decide which option to choose.
World.
She felt like the weight of the world was on her shoulders.
They dreamed of traveling the world together someday.
Equal.
They believed in equal rights for all people, regardless of race or gender.
She wanted to be treated as an equal, not as someone inferior.
Economy.
She studied economics in college before pursuing a career in finance.
The economy was in a downturn, leading to widespread layoffs.
Bounce.
The ball bounced off the wall and rolled across the floor.
She felt a bounce in her step as she walked down the street.
Describe.
She struggled to describe the feeling of being in love.
Can you describe what the suspect looked like?
Buck.
He bet $5 on the horse race and won.
She spent $10 on lunch. It was worth every penny.
Common.
She had a common cold and needed to rest at home.
It's common for children to outgrow their clothes quickly.
Drawer.
She opened the drawer and rummaged through it to find a pen.
He kept his socks organized in the top drawer of his dresser.
Dragon.
She read a story about a brave knight who fought a dragon.
The dragon breathed fire and roared loudly.
Comment.
She left a comment on his blog post, expressing her opinion.
He ignored the rude comments and focused on the positive feedback.
Breed.
She's a breeder of champion racehorses.
They decided to breed their two dogs together.
Fascinate.
She was fascinated by the intricate designs of the spider's web.
He found the study of ancient civilizations fascinating.
Borrow.
He borrowed money from his parents to pay for college.
She asked to borrow his car for the weekend.
Yard.
They played catch in the yard on a sunny afternoon.
She planted flowers in the yard to brighten up the landscape.
Hedge.
She invested in a hedge fund to diversify her portfolio.
They trimmed the hedge into neat, geometric shapes.
Agent.
He works as a real estate agent, helping people buy and sell homes.
She's a secret agent working undercover to uncover the truth.
Confuse.
He was easily confused by the complicated math problem.
The instructions were written in a way that confused most people.
Grin.
He couldn't help but grin when he saw her smile.
She gave him a mischievous grin before disappearing around the corner.
Wonder.
She wondered aloud about the mysteries of the universe.
They marveled at the wonder of the northern lights.
Circumstance.
She found herself in a difficult circumstance with no easy way out.
They met under unusual circumstances and fell in love.
Cure.
She hoped that the medicine would cure her headaches.
They searched for a cure for cancer for years.
Dawn.
They watched the sun rise together as dawn broke over the horizon.
She woke up at the crack of dawn to go for a run.
Faint.
He heard a faint noise in the distance, but couldn't tell what it was.
She felt faint from the heat and humidity.
Wood.
Would you like some tea?
She wondered if he would ever forgive her for what she had done.
Announce.
She stood on the stage to announce the winner of the contest.
They announced their engagement to friends and family.
Boom.
The fireworks lit up the sky with a loud boom.
She felt a sense of excitement as the boom of the bass reverberated through her body.
Cliff.
She narrowly avoided driving off the cliff when her brakes failed.
They stood at the edge of the cliff, looking out over the ocean.
Flood.
The heavy rain caused a flood in the low-lying areas.
She opened the door to a flood of memories from her childhood.
Arrest.
She felt a sense of relief after the arrest of her stalker.
The police made an arrest in connection with the robbery.
Bell.
The church bell rang out, signaling the start of the ceremony.
She rang the doorbell and waited for someone to answer.
Captain.
She was named captain of the basketball team for her leadership skills.
He served as the captain of the ship during its maiden voyage.
Attitude.
She had a positive attitude even in the face of adversity.
He needed to change his attitude if he wanted to succeed.
Exercise.
She did a series of stretching exercises before her morning run.
Regular exercise is important for maintaining good health.
Frankly.
Frankly, I don't think that's a good idea.
She spoke frankly about her feelings, not wanting to sugarcoat anything.
Defense.
She felt the need to go on the defense when her actions were questioned.
The lawyer presented a strong defense in court.
Conscious.
He was barely conscious after the accident.
She made a conscious effort to be more environmentally friendly.
Awkward.
She felt awkward at the party, not knowing anyone there.
They stood in awkward silence, not sure what to say next.
Bowl.
She filled the bowl with soup and placed it on the table.
He bowled a perfect game, scoring a strike with every throw.
Where?
She wondered where he had disappeared to.
Where are you going?
Breast.
She nursed her baby at her breast.
He wore a pink ribbon to support breast cancer awareness.
Direct.
She gave him a direct answer to his question.
He took a direct route to the airport to avoid traffic.
Wet.
She got caught in the rain and arrived home soaking wet.
He wiped his hands on a wet towel after washing them.
Deserve.
He felt he deserved a break after working so hard all week.
She didn't think she deserved the award, but her colleagues disagreed.
Disgust.
The smell of rotting garbage filled her with disgust.
He couldn't hide his disgust at the sight of the dead animal.
Deliver.
She promised to deliver the goods by the end of the week.
The mail carrier delivered the package to their doorstep.
Deny.
He denied any involvement in the crime.
She couldn't deny her feelings for him any longer.
Distance.
She kept her distance from him after the breakup.
The distance between them seemed insurmountable.
Illustrate.
She used pictures to illustrate her point.
He illustrated his story with colorful descriptions.
Drum.
She heard the distant drumming of thunder in the distance.
He beat the drum rhythmically, keeping time with the music.
Command.
He commanded the attention of the room as he spoke.
She had to command her dog to stop barking at the mailman.
Handy.
He was always handy with tools and could fix just about anything.
She kept a handy toolkit in the garage for minor repairs.
Bacon.
She cooked bacon and eggs for breakfast.
He couldn't resist the smell of sizzling bacon in the morning.
Credit.
He used his credit card to pay for the groceries.
She deserves credit for all her hard work on the project.
Anxious.
She felt anxious about the upcoming job interview.
He was anxious to see the results of the test.
Woman.
They hired a woman to lead the project because of her expertise in the field.
She's a strong, independent woman who doesn't need anyone to take care of her.
Cheese.
She added cheese to the pasta for extra flavor.
He ordered a pizza with extra cheese and pepperoni.
Bite.
She felt a sharp bite as the mosquito landed on her arm.
He took a big bite out of the sandwich.
Cape.
She wrapped herself in a warm cape to ward off the cold.
He wore a superhero cape and pretended to fly around the room.
Attend.
She needed to attend a meeting at work before leaving for the day.
They planned to attend the concert together.
Approach.
She decided to approach the problem from a different angle.
He took a cautious approach to the situation, not wanting to make any mistakes.
Rock.
She saw a duck swimming in the pond at the park.
He had to duck to avoid hitting his head on the low doorway.
Centimeter.
She measured the fabric in centimeters before cutting it.
He adjusted the microscope to view objects at the centimeter level.
Worrying.
He tried not to worry about the future, focusing on the present instead.
She couldn't help but worry about her son when he didn't come home on time.
Environment.
They were concerned about the impact of pollution on the environment.
She studied environmental science in college to learn more about conservation.
Folk.
They gathered with friends and family for a traditional folk dance.
She enjoyed listening to folk music on lazy Sunday afternoons.
Chat.
They sat down to chat over a cup of coffee.
She enjoyed chatting with her friends online.
Cash.
He withdrew cash from the ATM to pay for dinner.
She paid for the groceries with cash instead of using a credit card.
File.
She organized her paperwork into a neat file system.
He couldn't find the file he needed on his computer.
Accuse.
She felt unfairly accused of cheating on the test.
He accused her of stealing his idea.
Wish.
She made a wish as she blew out the candles on her birthday cake.
He wished for good luck before starting the race.
Expose.
She felt exposed and vulnerable without her armor of confidence.
The journalist exposed the corruption within the government.
Alarm.
The fire alarm sounded, and everyone evacuated the building.
She set the alarm on her phone to wake her up in the morning.
Hook.
She felt like she was caught on a hook, unable to escape his charm.
He used a hook to hang his coat on the rack.
Drag.
She had to drag her suitcase up the stairs because there was no elevator.
He dragged his feet as he walked, not wanting to go to school.
Without.
He felt lost without his phone, which he accidentally left at home.
She couldn't imagine life without her best friend.
Appoint.
They decided to appoint her as the new team leader.
He was appointed as the ambassador to the United Nations.
Individual.
She wanted to be seen as an individual, not just part of a group.
They valued the rights of the individual above all else.
Wheel.
She turned the wheel of the car to steer around the corner.
They attached a wheel to the bottom of the car to make it easier to move.
Fund.
She donated money to the fund to support cancer research.
They set up a fund to help pay for their daughter's college tuition.
Amuse.
The clown's antics never failed to amuse the children.
She amused herself by reading a book in the park.
Indicate.
He pointed to the map to indicate their location.
The thermometer indicated that it was below freezing outside.
Culture.
They enjoyed learning about different cultures while traveling.
She wanted to expose her children to their cultural heritage.
Active.
He enjoyed participating in active sports like soccer and basketball.
She led an active lifestyle, always on the go.
According.
According to the weather forecast, it's going to rain tomorrow.
She acted according to the instructions given to her.
Available.
She checked her schedule to see when she was available to meet.
They had many options available to choose from.
Correct.
He corrected the mistake before submitting the report.
She received the correct change after pointing out the error.
Calculate.
She tried to calculate how much money she would need for the trip.
He used a calculator to calculate the total cost.
Article.
She read an interesting article in the newspaper about climate change.
He wrote an article for the school newspaper about the upcoming dance.
Crown.
He was crowned king after his father passed away.
She wore a crown on her head to signify her royal status.
Equipment.
They packed all the necessary equipment for the camping trip.
She needed specialized equipment for her job as a scientist.
Constant.
He was a constant source of support during her difficult times.
She felt a constant pressure to succeed.
Familiar.
The room looked familiar, but she couldn't remember ever being there before.
They were familiar faces in the neighborhood, always saying hello to everyone they passed.
Effort.
He appreciated her effort to make him feel welcome.
She put in a lot of effort to finish the project on time.
Contribute.
They decided to contribute money to the charity.
She wanted to contribute her skills to the team effort.
Bomb.
She dropped the bombshell that she was pregnant.
The bomb exploded with a deafening roar.
Frost.
The frost on the ground sparkled in the morning sunlight.
She scraped the frost off the windshield before driving to work.
Circle.
She drew a circle around the correct answer on the test.
They sat in a circle around the campfire, telling stories.
Faith.
She had faith that everything would work out in the end.
He lost faith in humanity after witnessing so much cruelty.
Bend.
They watched the trees bend in the strong wind.
She bent over to tie her shoelaces.
Desperate.
She felt desperate to escape from her current situation.
He made a desperate plea for help.
Extend.
She extended her hand in friendship to the new student.
They decided to extend their vacation by another week.
Appeal.
They filed an appeal to have the decision overturned.
She had a natural appeal that drew people to her.
Appreciate.
He didn't fully appreciate the beauty of the sunset until he stopped to watch it.
She appreciated the effort he put into planning the surprise party.
Calm.
She took a deep breath to calm her nerves before the presentation.
He remained calm even in the midst of chaos.
Fail.
She felt like a failure after losing the competition.
He didn't want to fail the exam, so he studied hard.
Evil.
The villain in the movie was pure evil, with no redeeming qualities.
She couldn't believe that such evil existed in the world.
Hire.
She was hired as a consultant to help improve efficiency.
They decided to hire him for the job based on his qualifications.
Attack.
The army launched a surprise attack on the enemy's stronghold.
She felt like she was under attack from all sides.
Cream.
He spread cream cheese on his bagel for breakfast.
She added cream to her coffee for extra richness.
Guard.
The guard stood watch at the entrance to the castle.
She felt safe with him as her personal guard.
Fortnight.
She hadn't seen him in over a fortnight and was starting to worry.
They planned to stay at the beach house for a fortnight.
Damage.
The storm caused extensive damage to the crops.
She didn't mean to cause any damage, but accidents happen.
Drama.
She enjoyed watching courtroom dramas on TV.
There was always drama in their relationship, with constant ups and downs.
Bee.
The bee buzzed around the flowers, collecting nectar.
She got stung by a bee while picking strawberries in the garden.
Condition.
She agreed to buy the house on the condition that the seller fix the leaky roof.
The car was in poor condition and needed repairs.
Emotion.
She struggled to control her emotions during the funeral.
He didn't show much emotion, keeping his feelings bottled up inside.
Boot.
He kicked the ball with his left boot and scored a goal.
She pulled on her boots and headed out into the snow.
Cheek.
She kissed him on the cheek before saying goodbye.
He turned the other cheek when someone insulted him.
Belong.
They belong together, like two puzzle pieces fitting perfectly.
She felt like she didn't belong in the new school.
Dare.
He dared her to jump off the diving board into the pool.
She didn't dare to speak up for fear of being ridiculed.
Bunch.
She had a bunch of keys on her keychain, each one for a different lock.
They picked a bunch of flowers to decorate the table.
Garage.
They parked the car in the garage to protect it from the snow.
She stored her tools in the garage, organized neatly on shelves. He He didn't feel like going to the fancy restaurant. He preferred a more casual atmosphere.
She dressed up in her fanciest dress for the party.
Famous.
They visited the house where the famous author had lived.
She dreamed of becoming famous for her talent as a singer.
Basket.
He made a basket with his left hand and scored 2 points.
She carried the groceries home in a woven basket.
Envelope.
She sealed the letter in an envelope and addressed it to her grandmother.
He opened the envelope and read the letter with a smile.
Gift.
He had a special gift for her hidden away in his pocket.
She received a beautiful necklace as a gift for her birthday.
Decent.
She tried to be a decent person and treat others with kindness.
He had a decent job that paid the bills but didn't leave much left over for extras.
Wage.
The company announced an increase in minimum wage for all employees.
She negotiated a higher wage for her new job.
Button.
She sewed the button back onto his shirt.
He pressed the button to turn on the computer.
Challenge.
She rose to the challenge and tackled the difficult project head-on.
Climbing Mount Everest was the ultimate challenge for him.
Adventure.
They went on an adventure to explore the jungle.
She craved adventure and excitement in her life.
Current.
She stayed current with the latest news by reading the newspaper every morning.
The current carried the boat downstream with surprising speed.
Rish.
She washed the dishes after dinner while he dried them.
He ordered his favorite dish from the menu, spicy chicken curry.
Flash.
She took a quick flash of the camera to capture the moment.
They saw a flash of lightning in the distance.
disturb,
The loud noise from the construction site disturbed their peace and quiet.
She didn't want to disturb him while he was working, so she waited until he was finished.
cop,
She called the cop to report the break-in at her apartment.
The cop pulled them over for speeding.
destroy,
The tornado destroyed everything in its path.
She felt like her life was destroyed after the breakup.
grade,
He graded the papers quickly so he could go home early.
She received an A grade on her math test.
insist,
She insisted on paying for dinner, even though he offered to split the bill.
He insisted that they leave immediately before the storm hit.
capital,
She visited the capital city to see the famous landmarks.
They invested their capital in the startup company.
fur,
She wore a coat made of faux fur to keep warm in the winter.
He petted the soft fur of the rabbit as it hopped by.
bridge,
She built a bridge between the two communities, fostering cooperation and understanding.
They crossed the bridge over the river to reach the other side.
accent,
She had a thick French accent that was difficult to understand.
He could tell she was from the South by her accent.
admire,
He admired her for her strength and resilience.
She admired his dedication to his work.
block,
They built a block tower out of wooden blocks.
She felt like there was a mental block preventing her from coming up with any ideas.
apology,
He accepted her apology and forgave her.
She offered a sincere apology for her mistake.